Canada is now selling fake meat and you didn't know about it. You probably think I'm joking, like there's no way they'd let lab-grown cow copies into grocery stores without telling us, but they did. So you're probably thinking, okay, so how did this happen? Health Canada has quietly changed its food regulations, and now cloned cattle and pigs don't need any special testing or labels before they're being sold. No headlines, no public rollout, just quietly signed off. So here's the biggest problem. If the government's this comfortable hiding something like that, what else are they deciding we don't need to know? They say it's safe, and that's fine, but safety isn't the issue. Like I said, transparency is. And once that trust is gone, it doesn't come back. So Canada, let me know, do you actually care about this, or do you not care at all that the government just decided to mix this cloned beef in with real beef? Let me know in the comments below.
Health Canada's doing it again. Cloned meat coming to a grocery store near you. I'm Rosemarie Havsom. I'm back again to let you know that you can take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's get into it. Cloned meat. When did you ever think that you would live to see the day where we're not even being offered real meat in the grocery stores in Canada? Well, it's just been made official quietly and with very little, absolutely no fanfare. Health Canada has now said that they no longer need to test and safety check cloned meat because it's almost indistinguishable from regular meat. So there you go. It doesn't have to be labeled. It doesn't have to be in the category of novelty foods, which was clearly a way of categorizing it in order to let people know that this is something that is not natural. So what does this mean for Canadians who, especially for our carnivore Canadians, who really depend on meat for their diet? Well, it's left to be seen because we don't know if this type of meat actually is good for you or not. Let me cut to the chase. There's no testing to find out if it is safe, but the body does know if something is different. Maybe it doesn't recognize this cloned food because there's something just a little bit off. We don't know yet. It's left to be seen what's going to happen when people are actually eating cloned meat, if they haven't already started, because we don't know when this cloned meat was allowed to be in grocery stores. And maybe we're just hearing about the news now. As of November 2025, cloned meat in Canada will be allowed to be for sale at grocery stores, and they don't have to label it as being cloned meat because it's almost the same, or as they like to use the word, indistinguishable from regular meat. But that doesn't mean that there aren't any health issues or health concerns that you should have when trying to feed yourself or your family on cloned meat. It's almost like people don't want us to eat real food anymore. Whether you're a vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, omnivore, it doesn't matter. What's happening is that there seems to be an infringement on all types of food. And if you think that it's just about the meat, then you've got another thing coming, because it's not. Because it starts in one area and it goes into another. Do you recall, for all of our pescatarian friends, the poisoning and the overfishing of fish in the Atlantic Ocean? Do you remember that? Do you also remember too that for fruits and vegetables, there were so many recalls for spinach and E. coli contamination over the years? There's a lot going on, and it's not just about meat. But that's very interesting that Health Canada, which is the Canadian equivalent of the FDA, seems to think that people deserve to eat just cloned meat because maybe it's saving the planet. If you think that it's about anything other than controlling people's food and the bottom line when it comes to money and profit, then you got another thing coming. It's only about control, and it's only about who's set to make the most profits. And it's not going to be you, and it's not going to be me. And if you think that this is only a Canadian issue, keep in mind that since 2008, the FDA approved cloned milk from cloned animals for human consumption. And it did not require labels unless it was being sold to the public. But that was just based on a handshake, apparently.
The agency that's supposed to protect your food supply may soon clear the way for meat and milk from cloned animals to make it to your table, some say without testing it enough.
The concern is that the FDA might rush approval and not do the studies that Congress is asking them to do.
A Senate source tells CNN the Food and Drug Administration is just days away from declaring meat and milk from cloned animals safe. The FDA wouldn't comment on that on or off camera with us, but did say it is finalizing its own risk assessment. More than a year ago, a draft of that assessment concluded those products are safe. What are the health risks?
We don't actually know, but we know the studies that the FDA has relied on so far can't tell you that. I suspect that it'll probably taste quite similar. But that doesn't mean that there are no changes in the milk and that there are no changes in the meat that we need to be worried about.
The whole notion of cloning meat is because there's a ratio of the population, the global population, to available food sources, and that ratio is not good. People like Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation seem to think that there's not enough food for the world's population. So what we need to do is to, of course, clone meat and clone animals and have cloned milk and also have protein sources from insects. Let's do that too. What is going on with what the people in power seem to think is good enough for the little people? First of all, we heard about Campbell's soup, the tirade of one of their top executives saying that the food's not healthy and it's made with 3D printer meat and bioengineered meat, and it's only for the poor people anyway. So he wouldn't eat that garbage, as he likes to say. But what are we really seeing? We're seeing that if you don't care about what's going into your body to nourish your body, you can better believe that the food corporations don't care about that either. They care about profit. And when you see that there's a continued attack on food and on real food and a push for people to eat ultra processed food, we've got a problem. So the next time you go to your grocery store, take a look at the meat that you're about to purchase if you're a meat eater. And I would say to you, go and find a real butcher where you can see from field to plate, you know exactly what you're getting. Find these people, because the large grocery store chains, they're not about what you want. They're about solving a problem that maybe they've even engineered, who's to say, allegedly. Maybe there is enough food, and maybe the issue is just about who's controlling it. We need to eat real food so our bodies can be nourished and our brains can thrive on healthy food and nourishment, instead of the continued cognitive decline and the lack of critical thinking in younger and younger people who are affected a lot more by fake foods. We need to look at this and look at what we can do. And what we can do is to take charge of what we decide to put at the end of our fork and make sure that we are at least making the effort to find sources where we can get real food before real food is no longer available. What do you think about cloned food? Are you okay eating it? You okay with that? Drinking cloned milk from cloned animals in the United States? I mean, if the FDA says it's safe and if Health Canada says it's safe, isn't it safe? Comment it down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember that I too have a YouTube channel. That's Havsom, spelled H-A-V for Victor, S-O-M for Mother. We'll see you next time. Bye.